Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day. So a while back we had a Marvel DC collaboration crossover with Batman and Deadpool. Mm-hmm. This week we've got another one, but does it make the table? We'll find out in a little bit. Let's start with half of that crossover here, though.
Yeah.
And your pick, Fritz.
My pick this week is Superman 36. And we are right in the middle of the reign of the Superboys. Stuff that's going on with all the Superman books. So, some context there. Minor spoilers for the end of DCKO. It's been a couple weeks. I think we can do that.
Yeah. Fast forward.
Yeah. But, so Superman, something's happened. He's kind of disappeared. So, in the tradition of the last time that kind of happened, we've got a bunch of characters showing up being like, I'll carry the torch.
Yep.
But this time they're all Superboys. And in this case, it's Superboy Prime, who has been kind of bouncing around in the main title here for a bit now. He got reintroduced a couple arcs ago with some Legion stuff. Yeah. And they've been trying to build off of, last time we saw him prior to this was back in Dark Knight's Death Metal, where they kind of started him. Yeah, it's been a bit, yeah. And they kind of started him on a little bit of a redemption arc there. And Williamson's run has been working with that, trying to have him be like, listen, I know I wasn't the best guy in terms of I killed a bunch of people. I tried to reset the universe several times. I've
got shoulder pads.
I carved an S onto my chest.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I want to do good now. I want to. Yeah. And he seems genuine about it as a thing. He does seem to really be listen, I understand that I was not a good person before, and I'm not really trying to defend anything I did, but I do also I'm a Superman character. I can try and do good.
Yeah.
And I love how much you're leaning into the whole idea of, since he is from Earth Prime, he is from our Earth, technically, that he also has read all these books, and also it specifically gets brought up as a plot point, just he knows things about everyone on the Watchtower that no one else should know.
Right.
And if anyone finds out what he is, that's a really big problem for us. It's just but they're also he's also Superboy Prime, so we can't really cage him because that's just never worked ever. He kind of literally can punch through reality if he wants to.
Yep.
So it's just I guess we just kind of let him loose and see what happens. And it's funny. I don't know if any of what we were talking about before, we were going on a little conversation about G4. But this book, if you are a fan of things from the early mid 2000s, there's plenty in here. We get a couple villains showing up that I really haven't really shown up or done anything since that time period, or are very much rooted in stories from then.
Sure.
So it very much feels like Williamson is really kind of play with a lot of characters and concepts from then, which considering his age, is probably when he was starting to read comics.
Yeah.
Which, oh God, that's when I was starting to read comics. Am I closer in age to him than I think I am?
I think he's slightly older than you.
Yeah. Huh. That's weird to think about.
That would put him right between us. Maybe slightly closer to me.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Dealing with mortality now. But yeah. So Prime trying to be a hero, maybe not always being the best at it. Beautifully drawn by Dan Mora. There's a couple action scenes in here that are great. There's a running joke of everyone thinks Prime is super hot. That I think is really funny.
Yeah.
Which is essentially because someone's just oh, he I'm into that, and then someone's just he's a psychopath, right? So yeah, no, I'm excited. There's the whole intro page is him being hey, I know this is weird. Superman's gone. How about we have an adventure for a couple months? He's being very meta because he's very aware that he's in a book, and I don't know, it just works. It works really well. I'm excited to see what happens with him. It being Prime, who knows if it will actually work out in the end. Things usually don't for him, but I don't know. Maybe he'll deserve the happy ending that he might get at the end of this.
There you go.
Yeah, speaking of people who are definitely not having a good time.
Yeah, well, I went with Absolute Wonder Woman number 18. Wow, we're pulling up on the issue 24 very rapidly here. So at the end of issue 17, Wonder Woman was in a bad way. Zatanna had done a whammy on her, and somebody who appeared to be closely related to Zatanna was burning Wonder Woman inside and out. And so we had this flaming skeleton dude walking around doing backwards magic. Don't know who else in the DC universe we know that does backwards magic. Yeah, so that's kind of where this whole thing takes off. Now, one thing that this book has done really well for almost 2 years now is telling a current story and then having kind of a flashback moment of Diana when she's growing up in hell and how that impacts who she ends up being. And they're doing it in these tiny little bite-sized pieces where it's kind of an everyday occurrence in hell. Like it wasn't this big thing all the time. Like there have been a couple of those. But if you do that too often, then it doesn't work, right? It's like, geez, how many of these major life-changing events did she have? But when it's just a conversation that she had where she makes an observation or makes a decision about, this is how I'm going to approach this small problem, and then you see that she applies that throughout her life, it really goes to one of the core tenets that I think works best in comic books is you have to understand the character. Not the character, but the character's character, right? In order to get their real motivation and to be able to put them into varying situations and still have it feel like them. And I think that you have to have really interesting delineations between different types of characters, right? Like Superman versus Wonder Woman versus absolute Wonder Woman. Like they have to be distinct and unique. So you're not just slapping the trappings of, oh, well, this one's got a cape and this one has boots and a lasso. So this whole series, 19, right? Because do we have one annual? Yeah, one annual. So 19 issues in, plus a crossover into Absolute Batman, I guess. So we've got, and then a couple others. So, 20-something appearances of Absolute Wonder Woman. And the character just feels really well defined. And that's such an interesting way to go about telling a new version of a very old character. I mean, not to throw it out there, but, Wonder Woman's been around for a long time.
Well, and one of the things I really enjoyed of this you were talking about with the character is that for a lot of this run, like, Dinah has been very much about, like, trying to, like, understand people, like, trying to, like, be very kind of like, I'm going to try and meet you where you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what I love with this issue after the events of the last couple issues is she also just gets to be angry.
Yes.
She gets to lash out and maybe make some decisions that like aren't the best. But it also feels natural in a way of just like someone who has been trying so hard to be this way and is being met constantly with just aggression and misunderstanding. She's like, okay, listen, I'm going to make you sit down for a second so we can actually like figure this out.
Right. Yeah, and I would say it's not a lose her temper type of situation, but it is definitely a demonstrate her anger type of situation. And I think part of that is because the party at fault here should have known that was crossing a line, and she is making them very well aware that is not acceptable going forward. The art continues to be great in this series. All the different artists that they've put together in order to, because we don't really get a consistent artist on any book indefinitely anymore. But it's been such a fun ride. And this one sets up another big throwdown, but we're working towards this bigger story arc that's kind of happening in the background.
Yeah, they're definitely teasing because like we've got Diana dealing with like the villains that are like in this arc, but then there's increasingly becoming apparent like, oh, there's like in the background everything with like Veronica Cale.
Yes, exactly.
Like something's going to like come to a head there that's maybe not going to work out too well.
Yeah, so she's playing chess right now, and what we're seeing is the confrontation between the other pieces on the board, but there's also the person that's, moving those pieces around, and we'll get to that. But all right, well, speaking of getting to what's coming next, big surprise? Probably not.
I mean, I actually forget from the angle. Can they see what's on the table before we pick it up?
Yeah,
okay.
probably.
I've never really bothered to notice that. But anyways, yeah, no shocker. Superman, Spider-Man, the 50th anniversary this year of the first time they did this. I think technically someone pointed out there was like some like promotion material before this that was like, or after. Point being, it's everyone's favorite characters getting to team up again. Yeah. And it was really fun. I enjoyed the Deadpool, Batman, Deadpool stuff well enough, but it was part of the fun there was like these characters who would never actually really want to hang out together, having to be in a room together. Whereas this is, these are guys that would just actually be friends if you had them spend any time together.
Absolutely. And a lot of their extended friend group could be friends too.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get the main story here. Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez have them teaming up to deal with a plot brewing between Doc Ock and Brainiac.
Yep.
Basically scrambling everyone's brains with kryptonite-infused Wi-Fi, which is not exactly what it is, but more or less what it is. Yeah. So it's a matter of how do we try and stop them while everyone's brains are being scrambled and Superman's being weakened constantly.
Correct.
It's kind of like running ticking clock of just like, if we don't do this soon, like everyone's like in trouble, which is exactly the kind of thing that you'd expect these two to be able to handle.
Yeah, and Mark Waid is an excellent choice for who to pick to write the lead story in this, because he's had prominent runs at both DC and Marvel,
and with these two characters specifically.
Correct,
And Jimenez, I've talked about this before with the Batman stuff he's been doing. He is easily one of my favorite artists at DC, and as soon as they announced he was doing the art for this, just like perfect. Like, could not have picked a better person there.
I really liked his Peter Parker.
If he ever were to leave DC, and I don't see that happening anytime soon, if they put him on a Spider-Man book, for as much as like sometimes being trapped on that book is being trapped on that book, like it would look gorgeous.
Yeah, well, I think they just need to change their approach to how they handle the creative teams on Spider-Man at Marvel, because, man, it is just a slog right now for those people stuck on that book.
That was another rant you missed earlier.
Yeah, but yes, this looked great. I think, in an aesthetic kind of way, Superman and Spider-Man really work well together, because the New York that Spider-Man inhabits is daytime mostly. He's swinging from skyscrapers and that kind of thing, and similar, the metropolis that Superman's hanging out in, it's mostly daytime metropolis, and he's flying past skyscrapers, so it works out really well for the aesthetic of it. And then there are 6 stories in here?
There's a couple, and a couple standouts. I think my favorite of like the backup story. Oh no, they have it after the main story here.
Yeah, but they've got all the creative teams listed.
Well, no, that's for the covers.
Oh my God! Yes, there are so many covers.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Okay. I think my favorite of the backup stories was definitely Jimmy Olsen and Carnage.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my God!
Yeah. No, Jimmy Olsen and Carnage was really good. You've got Matt Fraction and I'm blanking on the artist's name. I really enjoy his stuff whenever he shows up. But let's see, where was he? Steve Lieber. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Speaking of Prime, I enjoyed Superboy Prime and Spider-Man teaming up, just because Peter's just like, is this guy insane? Why does he keep talking about I'm in a comic, and what is Secret Wars? There's
we get Jim Lee. Doing a Marvel character again.
Yeah, Jim Lee drawing Marvel characters is it's a weird place to be in 2026.
It is.
I won't lie, the Power Girl Punisher story got a good chuckle out of me. Just, it's such a bizarre team up, and if you're a fan of a certain Spider-Man type character just being getting kind of like poo-pooed on by everyone else in the story, you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, it was really good. I guess if you're looking for it to be like earth-shattering, this is going to change comic books, whatever, it's probably going to leave you a little short of that. If you're just looking for a fun read that's like, hey, it'd be interesting to see what would happen if we just had a day in the life of these two characters hanging out for an afternoon. Like, that's what this is. It's just fun. It's cool to see the companies share creators. We will get the flip side of this because this one obviously is the DC creators. And then what are we? 3 weeks, a month, something like that.
About a month, I think it's the end of
April. The Marvel edition of it, of Spider-Man, Superman.
Yeah, for that, because that one's going to be, it's Brad Metzler and Pepe Larraz are doing the main story. They got a bunch of other backup stories like they've been doing in there too.
Yep. So if you're interested in this one, better hurry up and get in here because we had a massive, we ordered a ton, but we had a massive number of people sign up for it in the last week or so. So the number of shelf copies are not as many as we'd like, but we have a ton of variants.
So many variants, they're not even all up here. Some of them are on the bottom row.
Yeah, it's a lot of variants this week. So don't hesitate to come in, but also sign up for the Marvel publication version of the Spider-Man Superman because you don't want to miss out. So, all right, well, what was close to making it up here for
let's see. New issue of Feral this week was really good. It was a silent issue because the cat in question seems to be deaf. We're not exactly clear on what's going on with him.
Right.
But so it's him kind of like they were captured by the CDC recently and he's kind of exploring, seeing what's going on with that. And there's maybe a surprise there at the end for readers of another book that this team has worked on.
Yeah.
We have the start of the new run on Flash from Ryan North and I'm blanking on the artist's name now.
He's right there.
If you want to grab me a copy.
Oh, they don't have it on the cover?
I'm making him work.
My old joints.
I'm giving the old man his workout for the day. Am I going to get fired now for calling you the old man?
No, I haven't fired Alonzo yet.
Is that our metric? If it can't get
he just calls me old man all the time.
It's better than what he calls me.
No, all right.
It's not appropriate for this. Kevin Goodry. Yeah, no,
okay.
He's an artist that I've only kind of really started seeing recently. He's done some other stuff for them over on Justice Society and that. Was actually at Twin Cities Con last year. And he just has a really clean style that feels very reminiscent of Evan Shaner and Chris Samney.
Oh, sure.
That I think is just such a perfect fit for the Flash.
He's got kind of a wear-and-go vibe too.
Yeah, also got a bit of a vibe there. But so that's off to a good start.
Yeah.
What about you, Patrick?
Well, let's see. We talked about Ultimates. It was Ultimate Endgame. Yeah, number 3. Oh my God, some stuff goes down.
A lot of things go down.
The current issue of Void Rivals, we're continuing the Quintesson War. Things take a nasty turn.
They found a way to make your Quintesson kind of scary, and they get a lot of points for that. It gets dark. Punisher, Iron Man. There's Fist.
Iron Fist. There's a bunch of good stuff this week. So it was a massive week. We had a ton of stuff out. There's also Uncanny X-Men and Glorious X-Men. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. It was a big week. Detective, man, tons of stuff. And like we said, there's a bunch of variants up here too. So be sure to get in and be able to get your pick of all of those because there's so many to choose from. But there's typically 1 or 2 of each, so they're gonna go quick. So. All right. Well, thank you to everybody who showed up at Mankato Con. That was a blast. Thank you, Fritz, for holding down the fort here while Jesse, Ryan, and I spent all day, every day at the con. It was a blast, and we're excited to be in talks with Dork Den about next year and what we can do to make it even bigger. I don't foresee a comic angle to it, but we'll see. However, on the comic news front, we've got Free Comic Book Day coming up very rapidly here. So it's the first Saturday in May. That makes it May 2nd this year. And we're going to have, obviously the free comic books. We're going to have promotions. We're going to have local creators here. I don't know if I told you, but I got another one of our local creators signed up for it. So yeah, it's going to be a blast. And last year it was awesome in our new location, but man, the dust had not even settled from the move last year.
It was so busy. I showed up just to like grab stuff. I wasn't even working that day, and I still ended up buying the till for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be bonkers. So I'm going to have to schedule lots of extra help this time. So yeah, but always a great event. So we're looking forward to that. And then it's starting, although I saw there's snow in the forecast again. It's warming up, which is always great for us because people start going through their houses and, oh, hey, we found this in the attic. What are we doing with this box of comics? So we typically start getting some new inventory in, and it's always fun. And we've started to get those calls already. So be sure to stop in regularly and check out our back issues and our wall books and all that kind of stuff if collecting is your jam. So, all right, well, we do this every single week. It's a lot of fun. If you would be so kind as to comment, follow, like, share, subscribe, do all those fun things, but most importantly, stop into your local comic book shop and check out the comics for yourself. We will be back next week with more Pulp Picks. Until then, enjoy the reading.
I hope you enjoyed Old Men Talk About G4, which I think you could have just, when we talk about G4, that would have implied the age right there.
Yep.
But